I require more factions. I cannot reach my daily cap of 12 quests without more factions. More factions. They came from the deep. It's the fish people. They also all look the same. There's no character creator for the beast tribes. Your hearing must be exceptional, Zev. If you did not overhear the Link Pearl report, then why? Well, no matter. You are here now, and we could certainly use... You don't see the giant exclamation point over your head, ma'am? Oh. Oh boy, that's just me? Oh boy. You're here now, and we can certainly use your aid. I have just received word that the raiders have sunk a civilian vessel in the Strait of Malthor. One of our warships is en route to speak, as we speak, although I fear there will be little left for them to find. I am uncomfortably familiar with tales of pirates looting and even commandeering their targets, but to sink the entire ship, an excessively brutal act, even for a buccaneer. Now I'd wager cold hard coin that those thrice damned fishbacks are behind this. Them and their serpent reaver lackeys, the Sahagin have much to answer for. Vengeance will be forthcoming, but let us first focus on rescuing what poor souls we may. While the warships scour the waters, I would have you head to eastern Lenosha and look for any survivors washed up on the sand of Bloodshore. That's an unfortunate place for a shore to be called if you want to look for survivors. One of the soldiers, Private Wilfalk, has been deployed to coordinate the search. Speak with him when you arrive, and we will direct your efforts to where they're most needed. May guide your steps. I know about this place. Oh, right, there's still a random... One of my dailies is still here because I gave up on it, because it was like, do a specific fate, and I'm like, it's not there. In fact, I think it disappeared right before I got to it, and I'm like, I'll check later and maybe it'll be back. I don't feel like grinding fates today to make a specific fate show up. That's a stupid mechanic. I'm very happy that I've finished the entirety of the Heavensward rep grinds, and none of them featured that quest a single time. Because, holy shit, needing a specific fate to show up in order to do your dailies, which is normally like a little quick process. There's a lot of things that make it a slower, more confusing process in A Realm Reborn. And fucking top of the list is fates being incorporated into your dailies, which you just have to hope are there, or you can't do the daily. And if they're not there, you have to grind all of the fates in the area until maybe that one shows up next in the queue. And it's like, okay, man, this was supposed to be a 3-minute quest, not a 40-minute quest. That's a significant difference. Oh, God. You're the one Commander Riki said to expect, then. I'm Wilfalk, a private in the Commander's foreign levy. As you can see, there ain't much for me to coordinate. The fishbacks made a good mess of that ship. Seems barely a handful of the poor buggers what were sailing on it made it ashore alive. Where am I? Where's Robin? Where's my son? Now you just calm yourself down, good wife. You'd ask her name. You'll have your boy back in your arms before you can spit up another lungful of seawater. Please get the water out first. That's a much shorter time frame of emergency. The tide's been merciful to a fortunate few like the good wife here and carried them all the way back to the beach. Here, you'll be needing some of me medical supplies for the bleeding and injured. Take a walk along the coast now and help them as ain't beyond open. I've never played a support class before in this game. I don't think I'm qualified. I'm a chef and a dancer. Yeah, my idea of helping people is I hold my hand over their head and I'm like, is this doing anything for you? Are your chakras aligned or something?
I made it. One moment we was sailing along happy as you please, the next I was struggling to keep me head above the waves. Which is funny, because it's like most of my body. You'd think I'd be pretty buoyant.
Wait, are babies more or less buoyant than adults? I don't know. I can barely breathe. Thank you. Thank you. Which of the 7 heavens is this Bloodshore? Oh. Oh, God. Put me back.
Ugh, my shoulder, it burns. Don't take me on, I'm begging you.
Just get out of the salt water, you fool. Oh, a potion. I haven't had to use one of those yet.
I can feel my fingers again, those gutless fishbacks. They were all over the rail and swinging afore I could stammer out a prayer to the navigator.
You should probably have swung a sword instead. I know, I'm backseat gaming your fish wreck. A shipwreck. What is that guy doing out? Oh, that is a character. I thought that was a player just staring into the abyss. Having a day. How did you even get this far?
Wave slammed me into the rocks. That cut me up some, I think. Is this bad? My thanks. I feel much stronger now. All I remember is an impact like bloody thunder, and the deck lurching beneath my feet. Then they came aboard.
They...
You've saved some bloody lives this day, lad. 'Tis a terrible thing what happened, but you take what solace you can in the little victories. Not that any amount of solace is not that any amount of solace will have me forgiven those blasted fishbacks. You expect attacks on the Navy, that's what we signed up for, but sinking a civilian ship with women and children aboard, the Sahagin have ice water for blood, I tell you.
No, not my little Robin. He's probably in a cage somewhere. I've seen how these storylines work out.
My condolences, good wife. I know how hard this must...
Mama!
Leviathan scarily ass.
Oh, nope. It's not sudden appearance of the child. I'm like, whoa, okay, that was... They should have cut away before they showed that animation transition. Yeah, there's a lot you can do to hide some of the seams here, and they did not choose to do that.
Sahagin, here.
Psh. Fish noises. Our vocalization doesn't work above water.
What, you didn't get your fill of slaughter out on the strait? If you want to finish the job you started, then you best start with me.
This, like 12 characters have this voice so far. Probably more. Listen, it's hard to think of a voice on the spot and then remember it. And also, like, I've had a few voices that were like alright over the years, but I don't always remember them the next day. And I'm like, shit. What even was it? How do you remember a voice? Oh, it is the sudden appearance of child. Mom! Because it's the introduction of the good fish people, who are suspiciously white-skinned. Okay.
Robin, my darling Robin.
Mom, there you are.
Oh, my dear Robin, you're safe. Thank the 12 above.
Bye. We're here to do Fish People PR. Have a nice day, everyone. This has been a trailer for DreamWorks, the bad guys. It's a really stupid joke. Dates when this is being recorded. Like, oh, I wonder what recent pop culture reference may have come out.
The lad's alive? What manner of fishback trickery is this?
It's almost like we have to confront all of our weird racism.
On one hand, it makes me feel a little bit silly.
Because obviously when we're playing the Realm Reborn, I'm like, isn't it kind of fucked up how, like, all the beast tribes are, like, according to this page, like, marked for execution? And it's like, but isn't the aren't they all being mind controlled by these deity things? Which we've gained more lore on now in Heaven's Ward, and we now understand they're basically fake, and they're created by belief itself. So ultimately, the beast tribes that summon the deities are themselves really trying hard to do exactly that, so it's kind of their fault on that part. But at the same time, that's just like a group. Like, it's like this element of like, oh, we're all very mad at Breitbart for we're all at humanity. We're all mad at humanity as a concept because of Breitbart, basically. It's like, hang on a minute. No, that's not all of hum. Hang on a minute. And so we're having to confront the inherent bias and assumption there by encountering the beast tribes that aren't like that, and so on. Which already happened a little bit with the sylphs, because the default sylph group you encounter in the story actually is the peaceful, friendly ones. So they specifically set up the idea that the cultists that are summoning these world-ending entities are just a group of individuals in a system and an organization, but not like the entire species, obviously. But they leave it open to the idea that that kind of can be the case for both the fish people and the Yamaja in the story, and probably others that I'm not remembering right now. I feel like the kobolds might have gotten some nuance at some point, but I don't remember. I don't think they were ever presented positively, but they weren't all death cultists. But I think I'm just mixing them up with the rat people again, which have not really come up, despite having carefully designed character models. And I'm like, when are these guys going to come up again? And it's like, there's no beast tribe for them. I'm like, what? Why? Okay, are they not considered a beast tribe? Is there just like a land full of them somewhere, just like the Hrothgar, maybe? I don't know. I don't even know if we visit the Hrothgar homeland or if they just arrive here. I don't know the story that happens later in this game. I don't know that. I'm missing the it's funny because I'm now a Hrothgar dancer, but I'm not in the expansions of either of those pieces of either that race choice or that class choice. So I don't have the narrative context for either. I'm essentially like out of space and time in a story breaking way, but just kind of rolling with it. But that whole time I was talking about that, in the background there was the fact that, of course, these Beast Tribe quests did exist that do add the nuance, and you get to learn a bit more about the actual culture of the people that aren't mind controlled by Ifrit or whoever, and Ramu. That said, I'm also right, because every time we do one of these quests, very obviously the fucking humanoid people that I'm dealing with are really openly and obviously bigoted against whatever beast tribe I'm dealing with. So I'm still right in that that's how all of these civilizations treat these entire groups of people, at least going into this, which is itself distressing, because it does mean that even if the game itself does eventually treat these beast tribes with more nuance, the civilizations we're working for, it's still not incorrect to say that they're marked for execution, which is, now it's just darker. And it's like, you can do these optional side quests where you personally get immersed in their culture or whatever and learn more about them, but like finishing A Realm Reborn, you having done those beast tribe quests or whatever, that's not like that changes the outcome of the main story of an MMO that's completely linear, because MMOs almost never have changeable stories. Maybe Old Republic does. I never got far enough to really know. I got to Tatooine and it was such a big MMO grind, and I'm like, no, I was here for the BioWare game, not the MMO. That I never made it past that, and also all my friends quit. But it would be interesting if MMO had a changing story. There'd be a lot of fucking work, but you never know. That Hrothgar looks really strange, standing straight up with a bow. Huh. I thought it was a Rogadin. I guess that, well, maybe that's why they have them hunching and stuff like that all the time. There is something slightly strange about him standing completely stock straight, because he has to have, like, perfect, form for his bow. I don't know. But anyway, that was updates and whatnot. So in these micro stories, you can hint at the idea of these individuals maybe changing their minds about these beast tribes, but we never had a big, there was no big comeuppance in the main narrative, which eventually led to like a red wedding style situation in its climax, but never had to really, as far as I can remember, reconcile how they treat beast tribes so far. And we're now like 2 expansions deep.
I'm fine, if a bit wet. I thought I would sink right to the bottom of the sea, but then some nice fishmen came and saved me. They were not like the scary ones that came after our ship, but the stories say that all the fishmen are nasty. Isn't that odd?
Yes, child, you're beginning to learn that all of the adults in society lie to you, and they always have been. To internalize this as hard as you can. Do not assume that adults know best. I mean, they don't eat rat poison, but like they're wrong about a lot of things because they just have they've settled into a lot of things that are less because they're true and more because they're comfortable and convenient.
Might I ask you a favor? I found this necklace at the bottom of a nice little boat. Bottom of the little boat the nice fishermen used to carry me to the shore. I'm certain it must be one of theirs. I take it back to them myself, but I don't think Mom would like that. Could you maybe return it for me? Last I saw, they were swimming towards western Lenosha. That must be where they live. I wonder if their houses are made of seaweed.
I wonder if their houses are made of seaweed. That sounds inconvenient. Unless there's seaweed tricks that I don't know. I don't think it's gonna work out. I think I know where this is though. Yep. Yeah, there's like a branching. Yeah, I've actually been here before, funnily enough. Is Aleport the closest place? It probably is. I'll add that to my thing. But let's see. Aleport. Saved history. There we go. I keep track of these places. Shit. I always reflexively. I think it's because in WoW, which I played way too much of, you have dismount when you Hearthstone. So I'm not used to teleporting somewhere and then being on my mount still. Hell, I'm not used to teleporting basically half as much as you can in this game either. But it's so fucking convenient not having to fly everywhere. Specifically flight paths, I mean, not flying yourself. But yeah, I was really confused because I came here, I think, before I even did any of the beast tribes. And because I was trying to get a specific... I think I was trying to get a specific dye or something from like... Because it said that the Sahagin vendor would sell it. And I was like, oh, I can't buy it. I don't remember if that was an episode or not. I have no idea if that was during an episode or just a thing I remember happening, but I was like, what the fuck is this whole system? And now we've come full circle and I'm coming back here, and that guy, Clutch Father. Oh, an egg clutch. He's like a Giga Daddy. Oops, sorry I intruded upon your base without introducing myself. Anyway, hello.
What is the meaning of this trespass? I should skewer you where you stand, finless one.
Sup? Here's your necklace.
Psh! You carry the necklace of the Clutch Father Nav. How is it that you possess this cherished treasure? You come at the behest of the child he saved. Such unusual manners for the shore walker. You may pass. Seek out Clutch Father Nav and be sure to keep your tone respectful. He is the elder of our clan.
Super speed, super speed. Hit all of the plus bonuses. Are you wounded?
Rare is it to see Shorewalker in our midst. I am Nov, Clutch Father of this clan of spawnlings. Ah, the finless child did bid you return my necklace, did he? No, I had no special reason for saving the boy. Only that for the Sahagin, as it is for you Shorewalkers, offspring are considered the most precious of treasures. All that reside here are bound by ties of blood. All are children of the Clutch Father. I made this. You see this? I made this. Only slightly less precious to me than my spawn is the trinket you bring.
It was a gift, a commendation from our beloved matriarch. I thank you for returning it to me. That's a hell of a thing to lose. We have a saying. The father of one is repaid by the gratitude of the clutch. The favor of one. Whoops. I welcome you to our home. Perhaps a modest banquet is in order. I do not know, however, if our spread will agree with your shorewalker's stomach. We're friendly, that's all it took. The matriarch does not appear to be around, so I'm just imagining that she just like fills up with eggs and then explodes. That's why there's no women. You witnessed the aftermath of the attack in the Strait of Malthor. Yes, it was indeed perpetrated by Sahagin. The individuals responsible are called the Coral Tridents. They reside in the spawning grounds and are known among our people as the volatile and fanatical faction. We had hoped to prevent them from ever reaching that vessel, but alas, the current was not in our favor. Foolishness. Their actions only invite further violence through retaliation. And what of Nov and his clutch, you ask? We live apart from the spawning grounds and pursue a separate agenda. I do not claim to understand the structure of your civilization, but for us Sahagin, each clan of clutchmates is led by a single clutch father. The Indigo Matriarch, what you might call our queen, bestows each clutch of her eggs upon only the bravest and most seasoned warriors. It is then a clutch father's duty to raise and instruct his charges in the ways of our people. Psh! But for this cycle to continue, the matriarch must have a secure environment in which to bear her offspring. That is why we chose to make this land our home. It is unfortunate, then, that the spawning grounds have become the locus of such conflict. If only more shorewalkers were like you and spent a moment to understand our situation. The shorewalkers are here to understand our situation with cannonballs.
Clutch Father, I need your counsel.
What have I taught you, Sue? A Sahagin does not flail and splash about, so he rolls with the waves and rides the currents. We're not underwater, Nav.
Forgive me, Clutch Father. It is Pew, our 6th youngest brother.
What of him?
He has left the nursery without permission and spoke of talking sense into the Coral Tridents.
His brain is as soft as his spawning scales, and this at a time when I can not afford to take my eyes off the rest of the clutch. Though our stance towards each other is not yet clear, Shorewalker, I would ask a boon of you. Save my foolish son. So Sue here will have more to say on the subject, I am sure. You guys chose as many S words to say as possible in these scripts, didn't you? You just like actively messing with these people.
You have no scales, yet the Clutch Father seems to trust you. I shall do the same. As you have heard, my brother Pew has taken it upon himself to educate the Coral Tridents. He's one of our most impetuous spawn brothers, yet young. He does not realize the peril he puts himself in. The Tridents will not listen to Pew's reasoning, and will laugh as they impale him on their spears. Please bring Pew back safely to the nursery. By now he must be some distance across the land base, closer to the North Tide Gate.
I'm not like an expert on this subject, but I think they're conflating two different things with fish and also just life in general. They're kind of doing so there's like two main things that happen. There's when like, as far as like how many children a species tends to make in nature, I think it's more tied to like something like what is it? Like horses and wolves and whatnot often have fewer children because they actually stick around and care for the children in the long term, and it's a really intensive and time-consuming prospect. And humans and so on, like they're kind of wired to stick with their children and have family units and so on. But there's other species that just spew babies everywhere, and like 99% of them die immediately. They're just eaten by everything, or they're in a horribly unsafe situation to begin with, and so on. And it's just like they're completely and utterly fucked. And that's usually what's going on here when you have this giant clutch. If you're talking about having like a clutch of offspring, you probably just spew a bunch of babies into the ocean, and you're like, well, good luck. Bye. So it's unusual, as far as I can tell, that both are happening. Like, they clearly have familial bonds. They move like a pack, like wolves do, where it's the ones you see out in public are a family unit, but they themselves, but they reproduce like they just spam babies.
This concerns you not, Shorewalker. Away with you, finless one.
I was right. They did make the evil ones have dark skin and the good ones have light skin. I had that comment earlier, but I was like, hang on, I don't remember what they look like for sure. Let's hang it. Let's see. I'm like, nope, nope, nope. They sure did make the good ones have pale skin. Okay, that's a choice you could make. At least it's not consistent necessarily amongst the other beast tribes I've seen. They usually just have a different. They usually look exactly the same, but wear different clothes, basically. Although the Vanu were different colors, like all their feathers were different colors, but they were like green and blue and shit, or red and green, red or blue, something like that. But the Vath and the Nath were literally just the same bugs, but the Vath wore a green little cape.
Rescued by a shorewalker. What am I to tell Clutchfather Nav, Spawn Brother Sue did bid you come to my aid. Psh. I did not understand these Coral Trident warriors. I scarce opened my maw before they proceeded to beat me bloody. The Clutchfather always says that the currents of discussion carry us to enlightenment, but it seems the words of a spawnling count for little and less. I simply wanted to put into practice what my clutchmates and I had been taught. Now I'd surely face a punishment in addition to my beating.
Bum 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 bum. I hear the beginning of the song so often, but just the beginning.
Welcome back, Shorewalker. You are kind to endanger yourself, though you owe us no such loyalty. Pew will be appropriately disciplined for his reckless actions. Now, more than ever, the Sahagin must act with caution and wisdom. Many of our people reside peacefully within our city in the Indigo Deep, but our civilization faces a steady and treacherous decline. We must venture onto land and secure spawning grounds to lay our eggs, and build nurseries to raise our young. It is an essential element of our breeding cycle, an instinct too powerful to ignore.
So they do have spawning grounds still. Are they separate from the cultist ones? Like, can you keep track of your children versus everyone else's?
Our traditional spawning grounds were, however, annihilated in the Calamity.
The Calamity being 1.0 being a really bad game, so they deleted it.
Thus we were forced to seize this new location, the region the finless ones call Western Lanasha. Psh. It is not surprising that the Shorewalkers view our sudden aggressive expansion as not more than an invasion.
But this seemingly unprovoked attack on their territory is in truth a desperate struggle for survival. Without this land, without a place to rear offspring, the Sahagin race is doomed. We are in no position to wage war against the Shore Walkers. We must attempt a parley and learn to exist side by side. The Coral Tridents, as you have no doubt realized, do not comprehend the merits of a diplomatic approach. They seek only to control the weak of mind, like those like their brutal serpent reavers, and slaughter all others who oppose them. Do not mistake me as a traitor to my kind. I hold no love for finless ones. I shed no salty tears when the great Leviathan is summoned, and the Lord of World gathers a new drowned shorewalkers to his fold. But conflict with your peoples is not the answer to our woes. We must look beyond the present and ensure calmer waters in which the future of our race can thrive. Shorewalker, your arrival is a precious gift. I would have you become the first stone in the bridge I hope to build between our peoples, and the rock with which blunts the mindless spears of the Coral Tridents. I pray you, lend us your aid. I swear myself to your noble cause. I have no idea what the fuck Zev sounds like at all. I get a chance to read a line once every fucking 12 hours. It'd help if I knew what Hrothgar sound like. That would be a starting point. Your presence is most welcome, Shorewalker. My warriors are eager, but lack the experience to engage such vicious opponents as the Coral Tridents. My base reference point is basically Khajiit, which is basically where I went from with Thunder in the Morning from D&D. That character was a character that existed? Isn't the thing around my arm supposed to be one continuous band of metal? I'm noticing the bottom part is twisting with my forearm, but the top part's not. But it's supposed to be one piece, I think. I don't think it's a chain or anything that has articulating points, because it's held on by being an armlet. Those have to be pretty rigid, I think. We will halt the Zealots' advance to the shoreline and begin to repair the damage that they have done to our chance at peace. There is much work ahead, but together we can put an end to this meaningless bloodshed. This quest's complete and shit and stuff. Wow. You can do the quest and things. Good look at you go. Yelling me softly? Oh my god. I honestly, the love for puns is like it's like a shared language that MMO makers have, apparently. Or maybe just the English localizers, I don't know. But it's funny. Yo, Fish Daddy, what's up? The daddy of fish. Look at that daddy stance he's in. The tide brings ill news, Shorewalker. It seems the Coral Tridents and their finless pets, the Serpent Reavers, are now swarming another vessel off the coast of western Lanaska. But there is still time. We must not let them sink this ship as they did the last one. Should the Tridents continue to agitate the waters and with such abandon, the Shorewalker elders will surely bring their armies against us. Shorewalker. Zev, is it? I need you to become the rock I spoke of when we first met. Board the trading vessel known as the Swallow as soon as you are able, and blunt the thrusts of my foolhardy kin. We Sahagin are comfortable with swimming long distances, but you have not the required physiology. We must speak with my son Pa. The Elbst he breeds are trained to carry those wounded in deep water skirmishes. It's a trip when he uses the extended S's, but the word's made up, so I'm genuinely like, what word is that? The Elbst? But with one S, I guess, is the real word, but what? but they will just as easily carry an uninjured warrior into battle. Your sea beast steed awaits. Okay, I have had a preview of this before because I had a very confusing daily quest where I was trying to figure out how to do it and I had to look it up. Like, oh, there's an invisible wall that blocks you from getting on the like, because there's like ships out here in the water. This is a really weird zone where you go way out over the water and there's stuff there eventually, like ships and islands. But there's invisible walls that show up like hexagons, like in a cabin in the woods, and block you from flying there. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, oh, I'm supposed to go all the way back here, and I'm supposed to ride this guy there, apparently. And then it's a teleport, basically.
The Clutch Father has told me of your need. This Alpst is the largest and swiftest creature of my stable and should have no difficulty in bearing you across the waves. Be sure you are prepared for heavy combat, Shorewalker. The Coral Tridents often bring their own sea boats into battle, ill-treated and foul-tempered brutes all, and I speak not of the Serpent Reavers, though the description may be apt. Are you ready to ride my Alps to the Swallow? Endless one?
Yeah. There's no consistency on any voices that I attempt to give these characters. In case anyone's forgetting, while it might be one big video on your end when it finally comes out, I'm recording these over the course of like weeks. So it's like, oh, it's a brief little 20-minute story thing once every like week or two. And it's like, I don't remember all the voices they all had. I can barely tell them apart because they're all the same character model usually.
Please, take whatever you want. Just let me keep my insides on the inside. Eh? You don't work with those marrow-sucking fishbacks. You here to rescue me and my crew? Well, then I won't question how you reached us in the middle of the ocean without a vessel of your own. This proud lady is the Swallow, and I'm her slightly less than proud captain. We were, in fact, in the ignoble process of abandoning ship. If you truly wish to save our skins, then I would be much obliged if you were to stall the enemies on deck while my men continue to prepare the lifeboats. Stall them how, you ask? Try spilling some of their black blood and see if that helps. She said keep her insides on the inside. It's like when I talk about, that guy's got a bad case of insides on the outside. Anyway, they said be ready for a tough battle, but this isn't level locked, so explosions! Explosions! I even had some of my AoE super attacks charged up. They're pretty fucked. I have some leftover fan blades, which are weird. So when I press these two buttons that are my primary attacks, they proc my two better attacks at random. And then those have a 50-50 chance of procking, getting me the fans. And while everything else has a duration of like a buff that can go away, surprisingly, the fan blades just stay there forever. Like that fan on the top right corner of the screen that has one green blade coming out of it. Those do not cool down. So like I was AFK for like an hour working on thumbnails and stuff leading up to this, me recording this episode, or this part of it. And I'm like, oh shit, I still have greens. It's weird. By the Navigator's nightshirt, you certainly are a force of nature. I was so focused on your deadly dance that I scarcely noticed the lifeboats were in the water. As much as it pains my heart to lose my dear Swallow, losing my innards would be more painful still. Come, my brave lad. I can hear the tavern and aleport calling our names.
Let's go for a jog. We've saved y'all. It's funny how some of the places get like they get like jammed in your brain for different reasons. It's like, oh, I remember Aleport specifically. I mean, more recently I did the whole cat and dog quest, I guess, but I mostly remember it as the place where we were really trying to continue the story, and out of nowhere, Effie's entire computer crashed and broke, and he couldn't. Where's the thing? And we just couldn't. We just had to call it for the day eventually. But it's also where I was when I got the Manderville set. That's all torn up and stuff. I wanted to get the werewolf costume. No, that's the lab. Okay, it's in here. You have a different gender than I thought at distance. Not changing anything. Thank you for your aid, my stalwart friend. If you hadn't inexplicably appeared moms from the coast without a sail in sight, I fear my crew and I would now be taking our final rest on the ocean bed, alongside the broken hull of my sweet swallow. I had but recently fitted the ship with lifeboats, and I am full glad I did. 'Twas the sinking of that trading ship not long past that promoted me to take such precautions. An awful business, that. Tell me, how is an honest man meant to make a living when the trade routes are thus preyed upon? How can mere merchants be expected to fight through a sea of slavering fishbacks? The ones that attacked us were so bold as to introduce themselves before climbing onto our rails. The coral tridents, they said they were, and praised their leader as some manner of red-hued sea devil.
A red-hued sea devil?
Giving another voice like that to one of these dudes again.
Ah, pray forgive my outburst, Storm Lieutenant Ururu Kogu.
Come on. Ururu Kogururu. That's so many, there's like 5 roos.
At your service. Captain, and this is of vital importance, do you recall exactly which red hue of the Sahagin used to describe their leader? It wouldn't happen to have been scarlet, would it?
Well, now that you mention it, I'm fairly certain it was scarlet. If it were crimson or carmine is red, I'm sure I would have remembered. A merchant captain must keep abreast of such details. It's too much description.
12 above. The demon rises from the depths once more.
Is something terribly amiss, Lieutenant? Yeah.
Some 15 years ago, there was one Sahagin pirate of such cruelty, such depravity, that he plunged the entire region of western Lanaska into a gibbering terror. The hands of the stoutest sailor would shake at the mere hint of his shadow on the waves. Truly he was a monster that froze the hearts of men. Even the knights of the Barracuda were powerless to halt this villain's rampage. So much delight did he take in the act of slaughter that the white coral necklace he wore was stained perpetually red with blood. Thus was the beastman whispered of in tavern room tales as the Scarlet Sea Devil. 'Tis been so long since the name's been uttered, I thought him perished of old age, but it appears the horror lives on. These are dark days, my friends. I must return to Camp Skull Valley and report this development to Commander Falk Breda at once. Well, the Sea Devil fellow sounds awful unpleasant, doesn't he? Perhaps losing my ship was not the most terrible fortune after all. Ah, I managed to save some things from the hold before we fled. I would be honored if you were to accept a small token of my gratitude. If it is not, alas, a sack bulging with coin, you will, however, find no finer friend than these oranges for fending off illness on long sea voyages. Good old jaundice. No, scurvy. That's the one. Whoops. Jaundice makes you orange, I think. And your eye is orange? Scurvy is the one that that's fended off by oranges. I don't actually remember anything about jaundice. What is it? Wait, hang on. Whoop. I'm already at the airport. I don't need to teleport here. This is not one of those times where I've been, like, removed to a different zone. It all happened right here on this here map. Wowie! Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Nope. Story mission first, because rep is capped until I do that. Zev, you have returned. My spawnlings have heard rumor from the Coral Trident camp that the crew of the Swallow escaped with the aid of an Alpst-riding shore walker. Haha, well done. Though the ship was taken, the lives you saved will spare us much enmity. What is it you have there? Oranges.
Do you like oranges? I just have oranges. Ah, I have seen the like of these before. Fruit, yes, picked from your land-grown trees. I mean, you're clearly on land. You can't act like it's that weird to deal with land things if you're gonna also just be walking around on land like this.
Lech Father, what are those? They smell strange. Oranges? Do they taste as good as sea cucumbers?
Why would you call them sea cucumbers? That's a weird thing to call them when you're from the sea. These are land oranges. They are a gift from our shorewalker friend. Be sure to thank him and share them evenly among your clutch mates. This is very unfortunate if this is like a dogs and chocolate situation and all your children die.
Thank you, shorewalker.
I guess the dad must have had oranges before, so they must be safe, I guess. Otherwise, this is a risky business you're doing.
Still so innocent, but I cannot shelter them from the world's harsh truths forever.
What of you, Zev? Have you any offspring that you know of? I imagine a warrior of your stature would have received many eggs from your matriarch. Ah, but you shorewalkers do not lay eggs, correct? Yeah, well, there's eggs technically. They hatch on the inside. Not much hatching because there's not much a shell, but
there is much I am unfamiliar with concerning your kind, but there is also much of our people that you likely find mysterious. For instance, why have the coral tridents suddenly come to prominence?
Honestly, if you sampled 10 women, asked them all the question, I think they'd prefer laying eggs. I think that's a better option than what we have to deal with as a species. Those who succeeded in battle are vaunted amongst their kin, and with their strategic use of the Serpent Reavers, the Tridents have achieved a growing number of victories. Now, you tell me they boast of a new leader. You are certain of the name. This does not bode well for our plans at all. I did not expect Scarlet Sea Devil to return. You're zooming a little too close to that, like, the textures do not hold up at that range. You zoom it right at this distance, it's like, oh, look at him. Even at this distance, it's like, oh, look at that dude. That close up, no, it's too close. Like, you can see all the individual pixels of the texture stretched out over it. Gilling me softly. What a fucking achievement name. There we go. Oop, that cut itself off. I'm surprised it doesn't cut itself off immediately. It made it fairly far into the loop. Well, alright. Sahagin, rank 2. Everyone's at a rank 1, so everyone comfortably has 6 quests per day. Which means I don't know, I can just kind of piecemeal whatever ones I feel like doing. Without having it be too much of a thing, but yeah. I'm gonna get it done, damn it. Hello, fish people. Watching the spawn. You're spawn camping? I can't stand with this.
Shh, Zev. I wish to ask a tedious favor of you.
Wow. Fucking frame this one. And Control Alt print screen.
There is a task to which I must attend. A task that will take me away from the nursery for a time. I would have you watch over my clutch while I am gone. You need not feed or discipline the spawnlings. Few, Ho, and Su have such duties well in hand. Psh, the coral tridents concern me. It would be foolish to think our acts of sabotage have escaped their notice. And they surely desire vengeance. Thus far, my presence has been sufficient to deter any such reprisals, but should they learn of my absence... To where do we travel, Clutch Father? What is this task of which you speak? Do not question your elders, Sue.
Your duty is to care for your spawn brothers, that and not more. You will never learn how to be an adult because I'll never let you learn why I do things. Great. I leave for the safety of the nursery to you, Zev. I will return as soon as I am able.
But Clutch Father.
Hey, I'm just gonna hang out and defend. Oh no, an attack! Do you make the attack happen? I have never known the Clutch Father to leave the nursery in another's care. The fate of our people must hang in the balance. I wish only that he would trust us with the details. Spawnlings we may be, but we have taken our warriors' rights, and and yet the Clutch Father will not even describe to us the battles of his youth. Now that I think of it, he has told us almost nothing of himself. We know little of his past, or his part in the old wars. But I have enough self-awareness to realize that that's strange, despite spending my entire life with him. You will do something for me, Zev. I wish to find out about this vital task, and learn if there is aught we can do to aid the Clutch Father. Many of our older kin speak of him with reverence and respect. They live scattered about the territory, the Reef of Sending, Weaver Hide, and even one of them on Moonshade Isle, though you may need one of Pa's Alps to carry you there. Perhaps in their stories you might hear the clue we need to solve this mystery. Now, to get them to speak to you, you'll need to show them this shell inscribed with they're doing this on purpose at this point, with our clutch mark. That should cause their memories to tremble forth on their own accord. The elders do love to reminisce about the old days. I'm immediately leaving? That seems like a bad thing in this context. I was very specifically trusted with something, and I'm immediately not doing what I was supposed to do. You don't listen. I don't think like someone doing daycare is supposed to listen to the kids and be like, you know what, I should leave. Yeah, you guys got this. You know what, I think I'm done with that mount. It's just so big. And I have a lot of other options now. I'm slowly pruning more and more of them.
This is a sacred place, Shore Walker. Only the tridents of fallen Sahagin are allowed to impale the Reef of Sending. You come at the behest of Novi's clutch. Spawnlings wish to know more of their clutch father, do they? Psh. In this, it is odd that they send a shore walker, but then many things appear odd to my aged eyes. Listen well, finless one. Novi was once the undisputed leader of the Coral Tridents, a mighty warrior who thought of naught but the glory and prosperity of his people. You tell his offspring that. You tell them that they ought to be proud of their clutch father and his deeds. I mean, if he fights them all the time, that might be a bad sign. It sounds like he's not proud of the Coral Tridents. Y'all generally seem to be up to some shit. One might hope that eventually you could be like, oh, now he's the new leader of the Coral Tridents again, and now they're going to stop trying to summon, the water one. There's a lot of gods to remember. But nothing of consequence can happen in these side quests. They can't change the main story.
Why do you bother me, finless one? I did not summon any reavers to do my bidding. So, you are the one what the others have seen consorting with Novi's clutch. Fortunate for you, all shore walkers look the same to us. If you come seeking your Sahagin friend, I hear Novi has come to parley with Zug in the Serpent's Tongue. I can only guess at their subject of their discussion. Here, take your shell back, finless one.
Did someone really just start vacuuming? I'm having the worst luck today. Just gonna power through. So professional. Earlier I started recording and somebody immediately started mowing the lawn outside. I'm like, God damn it. I think it's over already. I think Stephanie's vacuuming her room, which takes like 20 seconds. So, give.
My Alps is ready to bury you to Moonshade Isle, Shorewalker.
So one Alps just knows where you're supposed to go and takes you there. There's a variety of places. And they all work. He's a weird looking dude. Carry me, Zora, dog. I wonder what mount you get for this action. It could be anything, really.
Leave me be, Shorewalker. This is my isle. I'm harming no one. Why do you carry Novi's clutch mark? Has he cashed his lot in with the Flinlish ones? But it is too late for Nov. It's Nov, not Novi, whoops. His time ended long ago. Zug is the champion of the spawning grounds now. No other warrior is fit to claim the mantle of the Scarlet Sea Devil. Mark my words. He shall rise to the greatest of the mountain of the Shorewalker bones.
Y'all seem really friendly. I like you guys. Anyway, back later to kill you. Bye.
Well, Zev, did the old one you didn't say it have much to say? The Clutch Father once led the Coral Trident, incredible. And now you say that he goes to meet the Trident's current leader. He cannot possibly expect to negotiate with those fanatics. The stink of ambushes upon this parley reaches even here. Oh, Clutch Father, this is why you chose to attend the meeting without your spawnlings. You mean to fight those savages alone. Finlish one. Zev, I would willingly face battle myself, but I cannot abandon my duty to protect my clutchmates. I think that's my job. It falls to you to ensure this does not end in tragedy. The Clutch Father is meeting with the Coral Trident and the Serpent's Tongue. You are the only one I can trust to rescue him when the parley turns sour, and you can be sure it will.
Okay, I guess I'll help. Bum 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 bum.
Let me in.
This place. Oh my goodness. I died so much here when I was trying to finish. I think it was the monks. I think it was when I was trying to finish the monks hunt list or something like that. It's just because I could only move on ground. I couldn't fly, and I was like a similar level or whatever, and like I don't remember what the context or why I was here exactly anymore. But it's just this area is really dense with enemies. It reminded me of playing like 1.0 World of Warcraft when you're just like, oh god damn it, I pulled one extra guy, I'm doomed. Trying to go through fucking like knoll encampments and shit, and you're like, I just need to get the how do I get the progress I need without pulling too many of everything? Help. This doesn't seem like a good parlay location. It's full of those guys. It's all Reavers. Are they all going to disappear the moment the cutscene starts? I think this was the first place in the whole game where I died a lot.
You come alone into our lair, Nov. Your mind is as wilted as your fins, old one.
What a shell.
Fair greeting to you too, young Zug. You have no right to call me by that name. I am the Scarlet Sea Devil. Enemies of the Coral Tridents tremble at my coming. You would do well to show some respect.
Calm yourself, Zug. I do not come here to trade insults. I only wish to talk. Have you thought about our future, Zug? The future of the Sahagin? Have you seen how our people fade into darkness like the evening sun sinking below the ocean waves? Psh, noises.
Poetry, Zov. You have become even more pitiful than I suspected. You were once feared above all, bloodthirsty as a shark, deadly as a ray's sting, savage as a sea serpent, the terror of the indigo deep. You were the first Scarlet Sea Devil. Have you forgotten who you truly are?
I co-signed that title to the deep long ago, along with my heinous past.
And that is why your legacy must live on through me. The Coral Tridents will thrust our spears into the very heart of this land, and bathe in the gushing blood of the finless ones. If we lack the territory in which you spawn, then we shall take it by force. Our offspring will thrive on sand that has drunk the life water spilled from our enemies.
I see my words are wasted on you. Is it so hard to understand, Zug? What is needed right now is diplomacy, not war. Your hubris will doom our spawnlings to lives of violence and misery, with the edge of a soldier's blade the only surcease.
The only doomed here is you. Did you expect to leave here alive, Nov?
Oh, there's the Reavers. Well, that's a lot of them.
Kill the traitor. Rip off his fins. Strip off his scales.
Psh. Oh no, he's dangerous, isn't he?
You said he was weak now, feeble.
Oh, everyone's just even the people that aren't even Sahagin are booking it. He's that obviously going to destroy them all, apparently.
Cowards, spineless sea dogs.
Return to the shallows, Zug. You are not ready for the ocean deep. Damn.
This is far from over, old one. As the infirmities of age claim your vigor, I shall only grow stronger. We shall see which of us is remembered by history as the true Scarlet Sea Devil.
That thing looks so heavy. What an insane shell to wear. You think he sees me? Zev, you stood ready to rush to my rescue? I smell Sue's hands in this. I yet think of him as my little spawnling, but his instincts are those of a warrior grown. My strength has not diminished so much that I need cower behind the fins of my offspring.
but you have my thanks all the same. Come, let us return to the nursery. It will not be wise for you to linger here. You have my thanks all the same for abandoning my children when I told you to defend them. Okay. That was awkward. I got super caught doing exactly the opposite of what I was supposed to do. Turns out he had things super handled. An explanation is in order, Zev. Sue, I would have you hear this as well. I am listening, Clutch Father. There is much I have kept from the Clutch, but the wreckage of my past cannot stay submerged forever. It is time to tell you my tale. 15 years ago, I led the Coral Tridents in countless acts of piracy. Pillage, slaughter, kidnapping. There was no foul deed I did not commit. For the shore walkers of Lunaska, I was nightmare made flesh, a demon from the indigo deep. Scarlet Sea Devil. All those I killed, all the land I seized, I did so for the future of my people. I had not a single shred of doubt that my actions were just. I was as zealous as Zug is now. It is tradition among the Sahagin that our queen, the Indigo Matriarch, reward a proven warrior with a clutch of her eggs. Such a champion earns the right to become clutch father to the spawnlings thus hatched. Even among the elite, my victories overshadowed all others. The matriarch honored me with more than 100 eggs, from which many healthy offspring emerged. My clutch was the envy of the tribe. Never in my arrogance and pride did I expect what was to happen next. I returned to my nursery after a typical campaign of looting ships, only to be greeted by a sight that haunts me to this day. The broken corpses of my spawnlings, strewn atop one another in a gruesome mountain of death. This was an act of pure vengeance. The shore walkers had trailed me to our island home, and waited patiently for me to leave. Then they put my children to the sword. I wept and howled until it seemed my sanity had fled, and then, all at once, I understood. The blame for my spawnling's grisly fate, it belonged to me. Hate and suffering brings only more of the same. It draws you into a whirling maelstrom of reprisal and retaliation that leads to naught but a soulless abyss. My salvation lay in the few unhatched eggs that had somehow escaped the bloody retribution. I cast away my hollow dreams of glory and focused on raising my surviving sons, you and your spawnling brothers, Sue. The Scarlet Sea Devil died that day, and Nov, the Clutch Father, was born. I am proud of you, Clutch Father. I will stop the Coral Tridents, I promise you. Not just for ourselves, but for the clutch mates we leave behind. Does it all make sense now, Zev? The reason I recruited you to our cause. To be truthful, I have never forgiven the shore walkers for what was done. But I will never let my actions be guided by rage, for that path will not bring us to peace I desire. No, I would create a legacy worth leaving for my children. Let us continue building that bridge, Zev. They have more to say with this one. Because they're not doing a whole lot with some of the other quests. Probably the most boring one right now is the Sylphs, where it's just there's barely a story. Oh well, maybe the payoff will be interesting because I'm not there yet.
God damn it, you caught me in the middle of my workout, but I guess I can do some parenting or whatever. Our efforts to achieve peace may have all been in vain, Zev. By undermining Zug's leadership at the farce of a parley, I'm afraid I have stripped away what little restraint he had left. The coral tridents have attacked yet another ship, and this time they have taken a prisoner. While the raid itself is sufficient cause for concern, the fools have abducted a high-ranking Leminson official. Now the situation is political, if the gamers hate politics. If the threat posed by the return of Lord Leviathan weren't enough, then this incident will surely put pressure on the Shorewalker elders to escalate their engagement to full-scale war. Zev, I beg you, you must speak with the Maelstrom commander. It is vital we learn what plans have been set in motion, if there is aught we can do to contain the damage caused by Zug's insanity. The nearest officer of rank will be in Camp Skull Valley. You are a mighty hero. Perhaps your words will sway the Maelstrom from a path they doubtless do not wish to retread. Trying to pronounce that speech pattern isn't exhausting at all. Whoop. We're nearing the end here. I've got Kobold and Sahagin maxed out, and then that's it. Do these two storylines, and then do the storyline that's unlocked from doing all those storylines, and then I'm done rep. I'm already done rep grinding. That's it. Dailies are over. I'm not logging on every day anymore. Now it's just the weekly thing like it used to be. If everyone's there that week. I have no tasks for you at present, adventurer. Our recent crisis is demanding our full attention, and it is no simple matter of ousting the nest of belligerent dodos. The Scarlet Sea Devil, an infamous fishback pirate we had long thought perished, has had the temerity to lead an assault on Leminson warship. In addition to the heavy casualties they inflicted on the crew, the Sahagin reportedly took prisoner our Counselor of Coin. Counselor Turston is one of the Admiral's most trusted advisors, and an essential figure in the day-to-day running of the thalassocracy. His abduction is a blatant act of hostility to which the Maelstrom must give answer. We go to war. Have we considered an alternate course of action? There's only one response to this kind of attack. Admiral Blofuswin has already instructed our troops to make ready for a full-scale retaliation. The warships of the Armada are assembled and await but the order to set sail. Those savages won't know what hit them. The charts will need to be redrawn after our cannons are done bombarding their shore. Then we'll send in the ground levy. That's us, to mop up any fishbacks that survive the cannons. Save your breath, adventurer. The fishbacks forfeited any right to negotiation when they laid their shiny talons on a navy vessel. Brute force is the only language they understand. That's not good. I've got news, bro. It's not good. It's not good news. News is not good, as it turns out. You'd be shocked. So, the Finnish ones will not be deterred from their righteous course. No matter who emerges the victor in the coming conflict, slaughter will be answered with slaughter, and our spawning grounds will give birth to naught but death. I can see but one way to steer us clear from this abyss, Zev. You and I rescue the Shorewalker official ourselves. Before we can attempt to undo this madness, however, I must first discover where the Counselor is being held. An ambitious scheme, demons' souls, such as this, would have required extensive planning, and Zug likely provided his serpent reaver lackeys with some manner of written instruction. A search of the serpent's tongue may provide us with the information we need. Quickly now, Zev. Time is of the essence. Y'all fuck-ups are gonna get everybody killed. Why you gotta make this mistake? Hey, that guy's also on one of the mounts you get from this part of the game. These reps. He's on the Eorzea one. It always says fate joined, but if you're not level synced, then you aren't fate joined, are you? You're just observing. Have to go all the way back? Yep. Can I go through here? Oh, yes. Or no, or yet. I don't know, the camera freaked out enough that I wasn't sure if I slid down to the door or not, because I'd heard it open. Bum, 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 bum.
Your search, Zev, it was successful.
None of those S's were worth stretching and successful. You're slipping.
Ah, yes. The parchment is soiled, but I can still make out the words. Their plan to keep the counselor prisoner aboard the Lost Duchess, also not stretched S, one of the Reaver's own ships. It's getting inconsistent. I do not know if these were Zug's final instructions, but we have no time to assume otherwise. Ride an Elpst out to where the pirate vessel is said to have dropped anchor, and take the crew by surprise. Though I do not swim quite so swiftly as one of Pa's sea beasts, trust that I will not be far behind. You guys only have one, I guess? It does seem like you only have one. Hello, Pa. Not to be confused with his father. And I guess I'll get that mount next. And I can already see the problem, which is that my tail points straight down and clips through its torso. I painted half my face so that when I turn my head, they think it's somebody else. I'm genius. Didn't even take the time to change. You guys aren't worth it. So stealthy that no one would ever spot him. A bright blue, like 7-foot-tall cat man in pink pants. Man, I'm basically a ninja. Release me, you fiends. Do you know who I am? Silence, shore walker. You're try to escape and I'll slice gills into your neck. Maybe then you'll be able to breathe underwater. You think me cowed by simple threats? We Elementians will not be intimidated by your base savagery. You try my patience, Finnish one. Continue your squawking, and I'll drop you over the rail.
You are not hiding behind that. Oh, there he is.
Psh, you, but how?
Oh. Well. I'm also here.
Aha! My rescuers have arrived at last. Who are you? You're not a Maelstrom soldier. What in the Navigator's name is going on here? Zev.
I'm also here. I was watching, helpfully.
I will defend the counselor while you liberate the key to his shackles. One of the Coral Trident zealots must carry it.
There's more? This place looks really empty. Oh, suddenly it's full of dudes. Hi, everybody. We're not level synced, so you're really fucked. I've got bad news for all of you. Just gonna start AoEing everywhere. Come fly with me. I'll just kill every single one of you. There we go. Oh, that guy's running away. Maybe it's him. Oh, did he leash? The ship's too big. He leashed. For those that are unfamiliar, leashing is when you pull somebody too far from their origin point, and then the AI just turns off and they run back to where they started. Oh, I guess one of those guys had it. Why does this Sahagin come to my aid? Am I to trade one captor for another? I mean, the Warrior of Light's here, dude. You should know who I am by now. My thanks. Those manacles were beginning to chafe. Now, I can see that you are some manner of sellsword, but I am not quite sure what to make of this scaled gentleman. A friend of yours? Mm-hmm. We are not free of this yet. Stay close to me, lest you be tossed overboard. Oh, there he is.
It seems the mantle of the Scarlet Sea Devil will not sit firmly upon my shoulders until I have sent you to the depths.
Zug, do you realize what is at stake here? Your reckless ambition endangers the fate of our entire tribe. The shore walkers ready their armada even as we speak.
Does the thought of war with the finless one now frighten you so? Let them come. My antics are as a spawnling's mischief compared to the mayhem you once committed. Psh! Ready your spear, old one. Let us see if the years have stolen your skill as well as your spine.
He seems nice.
Bleh.
The wound is not fatal, though it might leave a nasty scar.
We can't kill him because he might be used in the main story again.
I do not ask for your pity. Finish it now. Kill me. Show me a parent who can kill his own child.
Sahagin blood ties run deeper than the most loyal abyssal sea trench.
3 words in a row with lots of S.
You beg for the impossible. I will not slay my own son.
Egads. Shocked face.
I reject you as my clutch father. Why? Why did you throw away all you had become? Why did you not seek vengeance on the shore walkers who wronged us?
Is he like the one survivor from that clutch or something?
You know the answers to those questions. Surely you have not forgotten what befell your spawn brothers. At my side you stood, the only surviving hatchling, and shed a river of tears for your slain clutchmates.
Because he's like a different color, so I figured he's from like the Queen or something, whereas the new ones aren't.
Yes, I wept for them and made them a promise. I would avenge their deaths with the blood of 1,000 shore walkers. I would grow into a warrior both mighty and terrible to behold. The Scarlet Sea Devil reborn. I would do what you would not.
You cannot protect that which you love with a name, no matter how fearful. It took the greatest tragedy of my life to open my eyes to that truth. Zug, I would spare you that pain again. I would have you be the future our people need. I only want what is best for all my sons.
Clutch, father.
Sounds like you didn't reject him. But you're still calling him that. What an incredibly inconvenient helm. It's so cartoonishly large, you can't even see his face most of the time.
Weigh anchor and take the helm. We make for the nearest shore walker port. Prepare a boat to take our guest ashore.
But we still killed the shit out of like the other 50 guys that were here, right? Seems that way.
That was it? My thanks again. Were it not for you and your Sahagin acquaintance, I would still be rubbing my wrists raw trying to escape those infernal shackles. It would seem I have been laboring under a misconception. I was convinced that all Sahagin, all beastmen, in fact, were not but bloodthirsty, murdering savages, and with not the slightest concept of peace or compromise. But after meeting Nov, did you call him? Intriguing fellow, yes. Well, after witnessing his exchange with his son, I see now our fishback enemies are far more complicated than our bedtime tales of horror would lead us to believe. I have 3 younglings of my own, you see, and quite eager to hurry home and reassure them that their father is very much alive and well. Before I do so, however, I shall contact the Admiral and convince her to rescind the order on attack. 'Twill not be an easy task, but as the man who holds the nation's purse strings, my words carry a certain weight. Oh, and yeah, here. Ghouls are often a welcome sight on ships as their presence means land, and home is close by. Lanashan sailors began gathering the feathers dropped on deck and fashioning them into trinkets to give their children as a symbol of hearth and happiness. I'd be grateful if you could see that that feather into your Sahagin friend's hands. Beastmen or no, I have seen that any father wishes the same things for his offspring. Perhaps in time we shall find more common ground between our peoples. I only hope that it will not require the threat of imminent war to bring such future revelations to light. Haha!
Puffball. Oop. Colliding with things. This is my 3rd time making this flight from this port to this quest guy, and we're gonna do it at least one more time because I have to go back, turn the quest in, then come back to check out the mount. Probably get it. Can I afford it? Not that well, but yes. I have some money. I'm actively selling stuff at the auction house as much as I can. I got through all of my old cooking supplies that I got from going through Culinarian, so now I'm down to... I'm just selling the gems, basically, that these dailies keep giving me. I think it's you? The 3rd daily quest giver, yeah, has an option of 3 gems every time you do one of their quests. And so... And that's for every single one of the factions. And some of those are worth a fair bit, and then I just kind of have stuff finding its way into my inventory. Zev, I have no words to thank you. Without your aid, I do not think a war with the shore walkers could have been avoided. Zug has disbanded the Coral Tridents and is set on traveling for a time. Among all of my offspring, he was the most like me, most determined and stubborn. I sense he is hesitant to return to the nursery. But return he will in time. And when he does, I hope to see him a stronger and wiser Sahagin than I ever was. Such pleasant thoughts will sustain me while I raise his unruly spawn brothers. Feather. The counselor wished me to have this, I see. A gift from parent to child, a symbol of joy and family. So many of my offspring were slain by shorewalkers. The rage spawned by that act will never fully leave me. But it is as nothing compared to the desire I feel to protect my surviving spawnlings. I pray that this trinket can one day represent not just the bond between parent and child, but also the birth of understanding between our peoples. You have achieved more for this cause than I could ever dare have hoped. In the days to come, I only ask that you do not forget us, Finless One. Whatever thoughts of vengeance seek to consume you, I remember this nursery and remember me and my spawnlings. And should you choose to visit, you will always be welcome here. You are no longer some stranger shorewalker. To us, you are clutchmate. I was hopefully not a stranger to you like a few weeks ago. You literally trusted me with their fate earlier. Ba-doop-ba-doop. I get that this is where the quest started technically, but I wish you didn't have to go back, because I'm gonna immediately want to fly back here again afterwards to check out what you can buy as a result of the rep increase. It makes sense that you have to finish the quest, but it doesn't make sense that you have to go finish the quest to max out the rep. But of course that's how they would do it, because otherwise why would you finish the quest? You could just stop. But it's a little weird. Because by the time you do all that, get invested in all that, you basically forget that that person existed. And in fact, they did too. They also forgot you existed, funnily enough. Zev, seems that business with the Sahagin became rather more involved than anyone expected, eh? Maelstrom Command very much resembled the writhing chaos of our namesake once word of Counselor Turston's abduction sparked the call to war. 'Tis fortunate that our marching orders were rescinded ere we launched our attack. There are none in our ranks that fear to step upon the field of battle, but any day that ends without bloodshed is a good day. And I hear that you yourself were responsible for the Counselor's timely release. I like to think that my eye for enlisting talented veterans played some small part in the way that events played out. So, Zev, you averted a war and rescued a high-ranking official. Not a bad result, all told. But we must remain vigilant. While we welcome the possibility of a peaceful coexistence with the Sahagin, we cannot ignore the threat that the primal Leviathan yet presents. For the nonce, however, you have earned a respite from duty. On behalf of Maelstrom, I commend you for your courageous actions and judicious diplomacy. Ah, might you consider a bath during your well-deserved rest? I seem to detect the slightest scent of rotting crab meat. Fine, I'll change. Jeez. You don't need to come at me like that. There, we all happy? God. Back to where we just came from. This is one of the costumes that survived the class change. I can still use it as a dancer. It's a bit disappointing that the cool, weird cloak that I had that's from Heaven's Ward turned out to be only for melee DPS classes. So the moment I changed classes, I couldn't wear that jacket anymore, whatever that was. The one that I did, the one that I think it mostly only showed up in the video series during the daily quests of Heaven's Ward. our story progress was on halt for a while there because the new expansion killed our ability to play the game during weekends. So I was only making progress on the dailies separate from the normal video stuff. There's more dies. An Elpstorn. A lamp. They're always outdoor furnishings. Like, I primarily have use for indoor furnishings. Oh, right. We finished Heaven's Ward, where every single quest gave you an orchestration role, basically. Where is it? Oh, there it is, the green dot. Look at him. Look at the bitey boy. He's got a little collar on him. But yeah, my tail go- oh, hey, okay. My tail goes to the side. It's just during the cutscene that it clips straight through him. It was just coming out of the bottom of him. I'm like, that's gonna be really distracting. I almost didn't get the mountain just for that. But that was a cut. That's like a cutscene mistake, I guess. And of course he flies, because they all fly. Which is a nice detail. Although him being able to fly makes the fact that we use him to swim very funny. Because it seems rather unnecessary at that point. Alright, another one down. Next up is kobolds.